It's modern day slavery.
He said that girls were perfect because they made him so much money, and for him, I was a gold mine.
There are more people stuck in slavery than ever before in history, and unless someone rescues them, they'll die of slavery. I first found out about sex trafficking at a conference in Colorado Springs. And I was just walking around with my friends checking out different booths, and we came across this booth of Heartwork. And Heartwork is an organization that sends money to different organizations around the world. The organization that caught my attention was helping get girls out of sex trafficking in Russia. And I just felt so burdened by the fact that there were girls my age in the world being exploited for sex. After I signed up, I started researching more about the program, and the specific program that this was involved in was Hopechest, which is an organization in Russia that helps get girls out of sex trafficking. And so I started getting in contact with Austin, the director of Heartwork, and talking a little bit more about what was going on in Russia. And I researched about sex trafficking and what's happening in the world to just understand what the girls are going through. And after that, this issue really started laying heavy on my heart, and I realized I want to do something about it. Before this conference, I had no idea what sex trafficking was and what was taking place, and I think that a lot of people are in that same boat. But the truth is, it's an overwhelming issue, and it cannot be stopped until we open up our eyes and place ourselves in the victim's shoes. Hopefully through this video, you can learn a little bit more about what's happening in Russia, how Hopechest is involved, and how you can help. Russia has been placed on the Tier 2 watch list for the 9th consecutive year, meaning that they're being closely observed by the U.S. due to their lack of action against sex trafficking. And this is according to the Department of State.
It's an enormous business, first of all, and behind all of it is money. It's a multi-billion-dollar business that fuels all of this that goes on. Russia, although first world, much of it's second world as well, and there's tremendous amounts of poverty. Anyway, behind the whole thing is the economy. There's a lot of money to be made, and if there's money to be made, people are going to find ways to do it.
There are about 80,000 to 130,000 victims of sex trafficking in Moscow alone. And of these victims, 20 to 25% of them are children. Oftentimes these children are brought from smaller cities into larger cities or even out of the country. And this is according to the article Stop Sex Trafficking of Children and Young People. Girls stuck in sex trafficking, oftentimes their daily life consists of selling sex to whoever comes. And they're given no money, they're given hardly any food, and their working conditions are horrible. And they're stuck in this place until basically they die, unless someone comes and rescues them.
This is the story of Sophie on Voice of Russia Victim Confession in 2012. I was 18 when I originally met Cass, and over a 5-year period we became friends. 3 days into the holiday, he sat me down and told me that actually I wasn't there for just a holiday. He hadn't waited for me for 5 years so I could just walk away and leave, and that I was there for him. And for friends and for people that you love, you have to make a sacrifice, and I was a sacrifice for him. So he took me to a place to work and said that if I ever refused to pay him or did anything wrong, he knew where my family lived and my younger brother, who was 13 at the time, and they would be taken. I had to come to work in the streets and have sex with up to 30 men to pay off his debt, which I didn't even know if was true or was it just him and his way of making money. He said that girls were perfect because they made him so much money, and for him I was a gold mine, as I would never be deported and I could make a fortune for him.
The statistics and stories show that this is a very real issue in Russia, and sex trafficking is affecting countless victims.
we have a tendency as Americans to not be so concerned with problems that we don't see are ours. These are things that happen in the world, and we may be concerned for the 2 hours that it takes to watch a movie, and maybe an hour afterwards, and for a half hour when we discuss it with our friends the next day. But I think we're mostly uninformed about this and many other issues simply because we see them as the world's.
Hopechest counteracts sex trafficking by offering safe housing, education, and job opportunities.
Hopechest helps approximately 4,500 kids and 40 women a year between our different locations. Donations for our ministry centers go to pay for the staff at the ministry center as well as to keep the programs going at each. Also, a certain amount of the funds are set aside to help older orphans with emergencies like schooling, housing, and other paperwork or medical needs. At age 14 to 18, orphans in Russia graduate from the orphanage and they're placed in a tech school. At this point, they're considered independent. And the government gives them a stipend to live on, but growing up in an institution has left them with no skills for budgeting or setting goals. This means the orphan graduate girls are especially vulnerable to traffickers. Children's Hopechest has set up ministry centers in each region we work with to provide help and guidance for these graduates in the tech schools. The program and staff at the ministry center provide protection from traffickers.
Hopechest is a beacon of hope for girls in Russia and provides a safe home for girls who otherwise would be stuck in sex trafficking. So, how can you, Cedar Falls, touch girls' lives in Russia?
Till the fire burns clean, take a cigarette like that movie Con Air, dousing gasoline.
When I first started realizing what was going on in Russia and what was going on with sex trafficking, I just knew that I wanted to make a difference. And so I came up with this idea of a benefit concert at Lampost. And basically the idea was to get together musicians and artists from CF and just bring them together into one event, and all the money would go to Hopechest. So I started talking to my friends who played music and wrote their own music, and I started talking to my friends that were involved in art, and all of a sudden this just came together.
You're right, there's no one to love, there's no one to trust in my life. Sometimes I get so lonesome I can't breathe. Sometimes I get so scared that I can't speak. I've been playing since 6th grade, so that'd be about 5-6 years right now. Just playing some songs I wrote, some little tunes my fingers made, some ditties. I just want to be able to help raise some money to prevent it and do my part to make the world a better place. There are a lot of great bands playing, a lot of friends, a lot of cool people. It's going to be the coolest time you ever had in your life. Devin Metlin, the beautiful voice wonder himself, is going to be playing. Abby Rowland, the angel of music, is playing. Possibly anyone, even you. June 14th, Lampost, 8 to 9:30. Be there. There's no one to love, there's no one to trust in my life. There's no one to love, there's no one to trust in my life.
CF, we can make a difference in Russia, and it only takes one night to touch girls' lives forever.
You know, and as much as I hate to say it, raising awareness of issues like this, that might bring more attention. It might bring some more pressure to governments to try to stop it. The unfortunate aspect of any kind of issue like this is that they oftentimes take place in countries which have very limited control over what happens within their borders anyway, and they don't have the ability to check it. They can talk all they want. It's very difficult for them to do things.
But the truth is that we can't make a difference until we affect one life, and that life might affect another life. And so by giving this money, the little money that we donate, towards stopping sex trafficking in Russia, we might touch 2 or 3 girls. But those 2 or 3 girls, they go on to have families, and it leaves a legacy. And so, CF, we can touch Russia. It just might be in a different way. sex trafficking is a huge issue in Russia, but we can make a change. You've seen from the statistics and stories that sex trafficking is ravaging Russia, but you've also seen how Hopechest is helping Russia, and now you've seen how you can help Russia. So the first step to making change is being informed, but the second step is actually taking the step and making change. And you can do that Friday night, June 14th, from 8 to 9:30 at Lampost, a night of fun and music and art. But don't let that night be the only night. Make it a lifestyle.